racing. If you're lucky enough to experience the thrill of it, it will get in your blood and consume you. There is no feeling in the world like hanging onto a speeding collection of steel frame, rubber, and mechanical genius at the absolute limit and battling it out on track with other determined competitors. What makes a driver? What is the common thread that runs through this field of risk-takers who believe they can reach the top? I'm Cadence Presley, a 12-year-old racing driver with a dream of winning the Indy 500. I'm here to crack the code by talking with dreamers like myself who are driven to chase the impossible dream. To be the best. Today on Head to Head, I'm excited to welcome 3-time New York State Karting Champion, Adam Rylance. From 2014 to 2016, Adam finished top 3 in the Northeast Karting Championship, eventually becoming champion in 2017. He won the New York State Championship in 2015, 2017, and 2020. Since moving to Colorado, Adam has established himself as a top driver coach and has guided many drivers to success, both locally and outside of Colorado. Most recently, he raced in the SCUSA Super Nationals, both in 2021 and in 2022, USPKS in 2021, and the SCUSA Pro Tour and Texas Sprint Race Series in 2022. I'm super excited to have Adam on the show and challenge him to a head-to-head battle in the Extreme Sim. But first, as you guys know, I do this whole YouTube thing to help out with my racing career because it is a very, very financial sport. So I've partnered up with OpenFender. Competing at the top level for people like me takes a crowd of people. It takes a lot of support and encouragement, and I really hope you guys visit my OpenFender page. I'll put the QR code right here on the screen so you guys can use your phone and scan it. You guys can donate $10 at the minimum dollars. Anything helps. Please visit my OpenFender page today. Any person who donates and leaves their name, I will write your name personally on my go-kart seat, and you will ride with me at the Stars Championship Series. Thank you guys so much for your support. It really means everything to me, and I couldn't do it without you guys. Hey everyone, this is Adam Rylance, my good buddy from the Colorado Karting Tour. He is a multi-time regional champion, driver coach, and mechanic. Welcome to the show, Adam.
Thank you, it's nice to be here.
So how old were you when you first discovered the sport of racing, and then how old when you were able to compete in your first race, and what was that process like for you?
So I discovered racing when I was, I think, 7. It was 2006 when I watched the movie Cars. I'd always been interested by trains when I was younger, when I was like 4 or 5. But when I saw the movie Cars, that suddenly just everything turned into racing. I found out about cars, that got me into Formula 1. I found out all the Formula 1 drivers started in go-karts. So naturally I wanted to try driving go-karts. And in my first time driving a go-kart, I think it was when I was 7 as well, I tried to run over the track marshal on purpose. Don't know why, just 7-year-old me saw the track marshal and aimed for him. Didn't hit him, but it was close. I was living in Singapore at the time, so there was one small track in Singapore that I went to. I drove there once, didn't really like the track very much, and then the neighboring country was Malaysia, so I went to a track there, and it was a really nice track. I drove there for maybe 6 or 7 times, and it was all arrive and drive stuff, but it was the same kart I would have been driving had I been racing in my age group at that point, which was kid kart. Just kind of drove kid karts, never raced, but I drove kid karts when I was 7 years old. And then when I moved to the US in 2008, which that was in Connecticut at that point, I started racing indoor karts. At that point, there weren't really any good, at least arrive and drive outdoor tracks in the area. The nearest outdoor track was Oakland Valley Race Park, which was about a 2.5-hour drive from where I lived. I did eventually end up racing there, but it took a while because I couldn't really just show up and drive a rental car. They didn't really have those at that point.
Yeah.
So I started racing indoors in 2008. I would have been 9. Was terrible at first, was dead last in my first race by quite a long shot. But I kind of just kept trying and got more seat time and got more practice, and eventually I got pretty good. Definitely wasn't a flying start. I was pretty bad when I started, but that's fine, we'll start somewhere.
Work your way up, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And it took another 4 years for me to get into an outdoor kart, which I did eventually end up racing it Oakland Valley Race Park, or OVRP for short. I kind of got a little tired of indoor karting because I didn't really do it consistently in those 4 years between moving to the US and going to OVRP for the first time. I did indoor karts pretty consistently at first, but after a while, indoor karts just got kind of old because they're slow. But
yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah. But then, eventually I moved to outdoor karts at OVRP and began racing those in June of 2012. And went from there.
I saw on your Instagram that you were on this EU racing team, maybe driving. I also have to mention that I think that's the same car that I got to take a spin in back when I was 8 at IMI.
Yeah. I raced that car at Sebring. I did one race with the Sea Bowler racing team. I raced it at Sebring in December of 2019. I've driven it a few other times at IMI, but I only raced it once. And it was a good experience because that was my first experience racing cars on a proper race track. I'd raced cars a little before that, not really on a track. I actually raced cars on a frozen lake in New York because the owner of OVRP, Tim Hannon, he has some cars at the track that he likes to race. And during the winter time, I don't know if he still does it, but back when I lived around there, he would basically just buy these ice studs for the tires of his cars and install them. And during the winter, when the track was closed, he would load the cars into the trailer and bring them up to Lake George or whatever other lakes were nearby, and we would go and race the cars on the lake.
Wow.
On the frozen lake with like 30, 40 other cars, and it was pretty wild.
Reminds me of that like Alaskan race type thing where you just put studded tires and it's like a snow ice kind of race. You just rally cars, all-wheel drive, you just race around.
It was similar on Lake George whenever they called it the Lake George like Ice Racing Festival.
Ooh.
And because it was pretty far north, there was a lot of snow on the lake, and when they would plow the track when they would plow the track clear on the lake, basically all of that snow would go and form massive walls on the side. So you'd have not just natural barriers of snow.
That's
so
cool.
It was an interesting feeling because if you get it wrong, you end up plowing into one of those barriers. And I think one car actually flipped because he hit the barrier the wrong way, and he drove up the side of it and flipped. I just come around the corner and there's a car upside down on the apex.
Did he go over the wall or just on the track?
It was on the track.
Oh, that's scary.
It was a pretty slow motion flip, so he was perfectly fine. But it was interesting, yeah.
What has it been like for you to go back out after a long break and compete nationally in series like USPKS and SCUSA? Honestly, it was a really amazing, eye-opening experience. So like between the years of 2017, 2018, up until last year, the amount of racing I was able to do had really been limited. Just because it was a time period where my family was moving from the Northeast to Colorado, and I was kind of in my first couple of years of college. So racing wasn't really the main priority during that time period. But last year, well, it mainly had to do with the fact that I took a year off of college due to COVID. I didn't really want to be paying full tuition just to be sitting in my room on Zoom all day. Didn't really find that appealing. Yeah.
So I took a year off, took a gap year midway through college, and as a result, I was able to work a lot more. And I still work at this track named Podium Karting and Events in Denver.
Oh, I know that track.
Yeah, I work there.
That was the indoor place that I first went to when I started.
Nice. Yeah, so I work there, and then I do coaching, kind of out on my own. I'd race, not races, practice days, and then on CKT race weekends, I'm coaching with Point Karting. And so kind of through all that, I ended up being able to go to these races that I wouldn't have been able to go to before. And it was honestly, doing a full national schedule like that is something I'd been wanting to do since I began racing in 2012. So to get the experience of finally being able to do that almost 10 years after I started was great. And by the end of the year, I was pretty competitive. I mean, at the beginning I was fast. Midway through was a little tough just because of some unfortunate circumstances, bad luck. But by the end of the year, I went to the last USPKS race and really had a chance at winning it. I was running in the front pack on Saturday and kind of got separated a little bit afterward, or a little bit through the race, just because of some aggressive fighting that kind of separated us from that lead group. But either way, it was great to finally, after so long, be able to go and race consistently at that level, and kind of see that, like, yes, I can actually do this, and I can run with the best in the country, and I can, race among them and maybe beat them.
That's a good feeling.
For sure.
Talk about playing the role of mechanic and coach. Has this been fulfilling for you, and has it helped you become a better driver as well?
100%. Especially over the past couple of years, coaching has made such a difference for me as a driver, and it's been so fulfilling to be able to see the drivers that I work with go and win regionally in the Colorado Karting Tour, and then go on to race nationally as well. I've been coaching since 2016. 2016 was the first time I went to a track as a coach. And there's been a number of drivers who I've worked with who have maybe, it was kind of something that they liked doing for a little bit, then maybe they got out of it. Some of them have gone on to be really competitive at the national level in cars, at a national or international level. And so that's been really fulfilling to see. And it also provides me an opportunity to go to the track and be able to compete in a different way, because even when I'm not racing, when I'm at the track as a mechanic or as a coach, I still feel like I'm competing in that race through the drivers that I'm working with. When I'm a coach, that's usually, that can be anywhere from 1 to 2 to up to 10 drivers. That's how many I've had at some of the CKT races last year. But then as a mechanic, it's typically just one. So as a mechanic, there's one driver in particular that I'm focusing on, that I'm basically competing through. And that's a really fulfilling feeling for me, because yes, I enjoy going to the track and competing and driving myself. That's what gives me the most satisfaction. But to be able to go there and help someone else be successful and kind of share that success with them when they do well, that's always a really nice and fulfilling feeling.
I know we talked about kind of slowly building up your skills, but was there ever a moment that you just kind of figured out how to drive and you were just fast? There
have been certain moments where I've had realizations, or where I've kind of found chunks of speed at once, mainly through, I'd say more through racecraft. Maybe not so much in terms of speed. In terms of pure speed, I think that's definitely been a more gradual thing. But in terms of racecraft, my issue in my first couple of years of racing is that I was never aggressive enough. I would be afraid to touch anyone on the track. I wouldn't want to bump them at all. And I'd be afraid to pass them, because I had this image in my head of me trying to pass someone and then we lock wheels and I flip over. That would kind of invade my head anytime I had an opportunity to pass someone. So I really had to gain a lot of confidence to be able to do something like send it down the inside of someone under braking and complete an aggressive outbraking maneuver. So, really it just took certain people saying it to me the right way, that you can be aggressive and you can be assertive on the track, and you have to block out those thoughts of crashing. People talking to me the correct ways about those things is what really made me come a long way as a driver in terms of my racecraft. Because I definitely got a lot better with going for opportunities as you see them, and not second guessing yourself when those opportunities do come up.
Where do you see yourself in 5-10 years?
It's a good question. I definitely want to continue to be involved in this sport, because I've been doing it over 10 years now, and it's what gives me the most fulfillment, the most satisfaction. I do have other things I like doing. I like rock climbing, I like trail running, I like doing a few other things. But kart racing, or racing in general, has been the thing that's by far given me the most satisfaction. And in 5 or 10 years, owning a go-kart track would be cool. I feel like, I've worked in many different aspects of karting by this point. I've spent a lot of time working in the rental kart aspect of karting, kind of seeing how that makes money, seeing how that can be a successful business. I've worked at racetracks and seen how those businesses work and how they make money and how they're successful. And I've kind of seen the right things to do and the wrong things to do in both of those, or both aspects of those businesses. And I feel like I can take everything I've learned from those experiences over the past 10 years and apply it into this one place that I feel like I could turn into a pretty successful business. And because Colorado does need another go-kart track, I think. There was the track in Royal Gorge, which would have been great.
Yeah.
But I think that's unfortunately kind of fallen through.
I would have loved that track.
Yeah, that would have been a really good track. But I think if we can get something like that in the Denver area, a track which has a racetrack and a rental track so you can run both at the same time, that could be really successful, and I think it's exactly what we need.
All right, guys, now it's time for the rapid fire question round. Favorite word?
Lando Norris kart.
That's 3 words.
Pretend it's 1 word.
All right, we'll pretend it's 1 word. Driver you'd most like to beat, past or present?
Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, that's a good pick. Unlimited budget, what is the first car you would buy?
A Formula 1 car. Probably a modern day Formula 1 car.
But, I mean, you can't even drive that on the road.
I can drive it on a racetrack.
Okay. What job would you completely suck at?
Golf.
Do you play any instruments?
I used to play the trombone when I was younger.
The trombone.
Trombone.
Wow.
In marching band and symphonic band in high school.
I play in concert band. I play percussion in concert band. Cats, dogs, both, or none?
Dogs.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Any hidden talents?
I'm pretty good at making pizza.
Okay. Who has the most Indy 500 wins?
The most Indy 500 wins? Is it Elio Castroneves?
Trick question, it's a tie for 4. It's Al Unser, AJ Foyt, Elio Castroneves, and Rick Mears.
I got one of them.
Yeah, you got one of them. I've always really wanted to race you and compete against you, and that's what we're gonna do now. Now it's time for the Extreme Sim Racing head-to-head challenge, where me and Adam had 3 laps of the F3 car. At Zolder, best lap wins. Let's go. Ready to go head-to-head?
Yes.
All right, guys. Adam's going first for the head-to-head challenge. He was really fast during practice. I'm a little nervous, but good luck.
We'll see. Nope. Great start.
Stalled it. So this wheelbase that's on the simulator right now is the SimMagic Alpha Mini. It's basically just a really small, compact direct drive wheel. It's pretty hefty, but it gets the job done.
Yeah, it's a lot better than what I'm used to in my house. All right, so this should be my first flying lap.
Yep. Hit it. Oh, that's fast.
We'll see.
That's good. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
That wasn't so good.
Oh, snap.
All right. Let's see, where does that put us? 23.7.
Okay.
Cool. That last lap was okay. The other two were, yeah. All right, just go ahead and reset.
I mean, it's some real competition, man. This is scary.
All right. Let's see what you can do.
Quick change, real quick. This is the SimMagic Alpha Mini, an amazing direct drive wheel system with features like detailed force feedback. You can feel everything in the steering wheel. Every bump and curb, it tells you where you are and where you're going. And a pin-free quick release system. And it's good for all cases, such as drifting, racing, if you want your own SimMagic Alpha Mini, you can go to extremesimracing.com and use my coupon code Relentless1C, all one word, all lowercase but the number 1. And you can get 5% off anything on that website. Alright guys, it is my turn for the head-to-head challenge. Adam with some really good competition. So let's go.
It's interesting to see how much later I can actually brake. I guess for some reason, because of how heavy the brake pedal is, I feel like I need to brake earlier than I actually do.
Go off track, it's fine.
Well, this is still your warm-up lap, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is gonna be tough, man.
You're braking later than I am.
Oh my gosh. Gather yourself.
A really fun combo is the W11, I think it is, or the W10 at Nordschleife.
Oh, snap. I don't have the W12.
Oh, really? It's a fun car.
I have the MP130 though.
Close enough.
Yeah. That thing is impossible to drive in my head. Okay, here we go.
This is a good lap. For your first lap, that's fast. Oh.
No!
Only one more lap then.
Oh,
Got dirt on your tires.
no. Oh, come on. That didn't help at all.
That was good. Oh no.
Well, that's it.
Oh,
Well, that's it.
unfortunate.
Oh, man.
It's looking.
Good race. Good.
Lap was good. Lap was looking good until then.
Oh, man.
That's unfortunate.
That's a note to end on. Congratulations, you won. I had one lap. You won. Congratulations. That was a good race. I completely messed up, but that's okay. What did you get? A 1:23.7?
Yeah.
I got a 1:23.9. Thanks for being on the show. It was a pleasure having you here. Alright, it's time to update the head-to-head leaderboard. Adam was serious competition today, but honestly, I really think I beat myself. I just got too much curb in the chicane and put it in the wall. But fair play to Adam, he put in a great lap of a 1:23.711. And I put in my first lap, which was a 1:23.913, which is just shy of his time. I was definitely onto a winning time on that third lap, but you can't win them all. So on the overall leaderboard, that puts Adam squarely on top of all the head-to-head challengers so far. And I'm still hanging on to the top overall time with a 1:23.349. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you can tune in at the first of each month for a brand new episode of Head-to-Head. Coming up next, a Colorado staple in karting, Brody shoe card. I mean, everybody loves Brody. Thanks again for watching. See you guys next time.